My name is Yilebes Addis. I'm Chief Executive Officer of the National Switch, EthSwitch. EthSwitch is the national switch owned by all banks operating in Ethiopia. It's private and the public banks, as well as the National Bank of Ethiopia. When it's in its establishment, these were the owners. But lately, microfinance institutions, payment instrument issuers, and payment system operators have also joined as shareholder, as well as a participant. So at the National Switch, and a share company being owned by all financial institutions, we have 5 core goals that we provide as a service. The first one is creating interoperability across financial institutes and the channels. When we say across the banks, MFIs, payment instrument issuers, and pesos, as well as the channels that they provide as a service, like the interoperability on ATM, interoperability on POS, and interoperability on mobile, as well as agent-based, agent level. We are also planning to have in the future interoperability at branch level, think being the customer of Bank A and going to Bank B branch and getting a service seamlessly without any different requirement to open an account in that bank. The second area that we work on and that we are mandated is a domestic payment scheme. So we develop and implement the domestic payment scheme. We are the owner and operator for a domestic payment scheme. When we talk about the domestic payment scheme, it spans from the card scheme to all other non-card forms of the schemes. It includes the QR scheme, the mobile scheme, internet, and all possible schemes. The third area that we are mandated and we work on is the National Payment Gateway. The purpose of having the National Payment Gateway is actually enabling the e-commerce payments. You know, the e-commerce service and the commerce transaction here in Ethiopia is very low. And one of the areas that we can unlock is the payment side. From the payment side, we provide the seamless experience for customers when they transact online using any e-commerce service provider. And the fourth area is, at the National Switch, we are the central interconnectivity for payments and a clearing and settlement that we connect with RTGS. And the last one, the fifth one, is providing shared platforms and infrastructure. The purpose of providing shared platforms and infrastructure is mainly to enable banks to focus on their core area and minimize the required investment on the infrastructure and the platforms. Mainly for the new entrants, it avoids barriers for the new entry. And it increases reach so that we can bring the financial inclusion by providing those platforms. Besides, at the nation level, since we are sharing those platform and infrastructure, you can save a foreign currency. And the operating cost as well as the capex will be minimal to provide a service for the financial institutes. So these are the 5 goals that we have, and the 4 of them at the National Switch were exclusively mandated by the central bank. But the 5th one is an additional service, a value-added service to financial institutes that we provide. Anyone can also provide. The main goal is creating interoperability. So in creating interoperability at different levels, so it has, even though it has multiple advantages that we can provide. So when we create interoperability, so we are enabling all financial institutions to provide a service to customers, whether that customer is their own customer or not. So here, the customers can have financial access in any of the channels, regardless of being the customer of that specific bank. And this one brings the financial inclusion. At the end, we can create a cash-light society So the main one is creating interoperability among financial institutions and their channels, actually. So inside it, the current main focus is instant payment system. So the instant payment system, if you heard in the previous session, we were talking about the instant payment system and the cash. The instant payment system is serving the society like cash, but it addresses the drawbacks of cash. Why people do a transaction using cash is because of the inherent nature and the benefit of the cash. Why cash becomes king is because cash, it's immediate settlement. I give you, then you give me the goods and services. And it's immediately settled, it's in your pocket. And I cannot reverse it unless I discuss with you and agree with you to reverse and to give you back the goods. So it's immediate settlement. If you have a cash, then you can do any transaction 24/7. It's always available. No issue of the system, no issue of network, no issue of this thing does not work, this does not. You accept cash. So it's continuously available. And the other one is the universal interoperability. I give you cash for the transaction that I have with you. And you can go and spend that cash with the others. And that person can also go and spend that cash. So it's universally interoperable and acceptable as long as that the currency is acceptable in any jurisdiction. If we take Ethiopia, so anywhere you can do a transaction using birr. But there are drawbacks when you use this, even though it has its own inherent features that makes it a king. Like you cannot do transactions remotely using cash. So it's not at a remote convenience. And it's not traceable. You don't know who gave you initially that cash. And you don't know the capability of that person to provide additional services, adjacent of services. So it's anonymous when it comes to cash. And the third is it's expensive when you do transactions cash. You have to carry cash, and there are the risks related to security and managing cash and doing the settlements as well later on to the bank and so on, counting and so on. So it's a bit expensive managing that cash. So when it comes to instant payment, so it gives you all features that cash can give you. Like you can, it's immediate settlement, instant settlement. When I pay you using IPS, so in few seconds, the cash will be in your pocket. It's irrevocable. I cannot reverse it unless I specifically agree with you. It's like cash, it's in your account, it's immediately. And then it is continuously available 24/7, no issue. So it has all these features. In addition to this, it is remote friendly. I can do transactions remotely. And then using instant payment, you know the transactions, the behavior of that customer, that's known, so there is enhanced data. And the sixth one, which is low cost or cheap to provide a service. So it's fast. And it's universally interoperable as well. So anything that can cash give you, the instant payment system can also give you. So that's why we are currently focusing on the instant payment when it comes to interoperability. There is also a second area that we are focusing is the payment gateway services. The payment gateway enable all players in the ecosystem. As a customer, you can buy whichever goods and services at home or your office on the online, on e-commerce. And you can also get those items in your home. You don't need to go remotely. So what you need is the payment gateway, which is also supported by the instant payment, because whenever you do a transaction, you need a cash, right? But now we're replacing the cash with instant payment. Whenever you do the transaction, there must be one form of payment. Either you can pay from card, you can pay from account, or you can pay from wallet. So we are enabling all these payments. So here, it creates a job for the ecosystem players as well. So the delivery companies, there is a job for delivery companies, it boosts the ecosystem. And the service providers, the merchants, they don't need to have physical shops to sell their goods and services. They can avail online as long as they do have a store in a convenient place that they can deliver to the customer timely. So here there is convenience for the merchants as well. But it's not only the payment issue. There must be a rule. If you are not comfortable with the device that you get, and if you don't like it, or if it is damaged, if it's not as your expectation, there must be a rule that you can return on a given period of time. So it must be explicitly stated. The quality of the product that you are buying has to be explicitly stated in the goods specification online. And if you are going to return that, there must be the return policy. And that return policy has to be supported by the local government's policy. And they have to be backed with those things. Besides, any transaction that you made online, it has to be acceptable, and a proof of payment that's given to you, like a receipt, has to be acceptable, like a physical receipt. So these are the two areas that we are extremely busy currently, in addition to those other services that I mentioned. Yeah, I was participating in the summit in its early stage. I think I started participating the same since the third East African Payment, East African Finance Summit. And continuously I was attending the fourth, fifth, and the sixth summit. I got a chance to attend all, and I was in some of the years I was also the panelist in the sixth as well as in this year. So I see the continuous growth of the summit in all aspects, in terms of audiences, in terms of the issues that are discussed, in terms of the quality of all the attendees as well as the panelists, and though that can be used as an input for the policy makers as well. So it was really informative, and this is growing very well. I'm appreciating that. And the audiences, initially it was only from Ethiopia. Now it's growing, and I see multiple audiences from different countries as well. So really this summit is adding core value to the finance sector. So the banks, insurance, as well as the capital market. As the CEO of the National Switch, and the inclination to the financial services usually focus on the banking, commonly called the fintech, and those areas. So I see the continuous growth on those areas. And the iCapital, who is the organizer of this summit, is steering on the key topics that can be addressed by all players as well as the government. So I'm really impressed by the growth of the summit.